Are you like me and the holidays are coming and the stress level just slowly or quickly starts to rise up to the top? I'm gonna do some meal planning with you and share with you some recipes, ideas that I use to make holiday cooking, holiday entertaining, holiday parties, preparation tips so much easier. If we haven't met before, I'm Diana and I have 3 kids under the age of 7. My mission in life right now is to learn how to thrive and not just barely survive these years with little ones. First thing we're gonna do is not start cooking, we're gonna start planning. That is the key to every successful holiday, is just like 10 minutes of planning. Get out your phone if you use like Google Calendar, get out your paper calendar, any calendars that you need to reference, grab those and come join me. Let's do it together. I'm gonna look at the whole month of December, and actually I have family coming to stay with us for that week between December and New Year's. So my planning is gonna go into the new year. I've got a lot going on. So I want you to write down all of your commitments in the next month. Like, what do you see that you are hosting for, that you need to bring food for, and just write it all down. Brain dump and get it all out. So after you've brain dumped, I put mine on this little pad of paper because I love paper. It's how I think. After you've brain dumped, I want you to write down a lot of meal ideas. Just start letting your brain think of meal ideas. I'm gonna share with you mine. Easy, kind of for a crowd that people are gonna like, kind of easy to prep, because I hate being in the kitchen all day when I have company, or Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, for parties. I don't wanna be in the kitchen, I wanna be with the people, right? So anything that I can prep ahead of time, think of those kind of meals. So let me share with you my list. Okay, so the first big meal that's coming up, I'm gonna plan that first. That is in about a week and a half, and that is my 5 friends. And I've got one that's gluten-free and one that's dairy-free. So I've decided to make Change Your Life chicken. And I do have a video on it, and I will link it in the description below. But what it is chicken thighs, and you make sure you have the skin on, and then you get root vegetables, you chop them all up, and then you roast them all in the oven. So it's actually quite easy, minus the chopping. Gluten-free, dairy-free, and it looks like you fussed over this. It actually looks really fancy. It looks really pretty. The skin gets crispy. And then I'll probably I'm gonna have one of my friends bring bread. If I were making all of it, which one of my tips is, please let people bring things. They usually wanna help, they wanna bring. And to make it easier on you, especially when you have small little kids, let people bring stuff. So I'm gonna tell myself that. In the past, my perfectionistic self would not let people help because I wanted to have the perfect dessert and the perfect bread and the perfect setting. But guess what? It makes you go crazy. So don't do that. Ask for help. If I were making this whole meal by myself, it'd be Change Your Life chicken. It would be my homemade bread, which I will also link in the description down below. It's super easy. It's like 5-minute bread. Like a garlic butter that goes with it. I would make a flourless chocolate cake, and I'd make it now, and I'd put it in the freezer. So all I had to do was take it out, put whipped cream on top. For my dairy-freer, I would not do the whipped cream. I'd get berries for her. And then throw the berries on the top. Super fancy, very fussy. I love it. Yeah, check out this Change Your Life chicken. It is melt in your mouth, extremely good. If you have anyone with diet restrictions, you can even make this the day before. Put it in it's like a 1-pan meal. You put it in the fridge, and then you roast it the next evening. You can do that, easy. My next big event is my grandfather's 95th birthday party. So all his kids, all his grandkids, there's gonna be about 30 of us. So that's 20 adults, 10 kids. So again, I'm looking for something that's yummy, that's savory, that's almost fancy, but is not gonna take a lot of time that day. Like, I don't wanna make 25 lasagnas. That's a lot of work to me. You could, but that's a lot of work. I also have some gluten-freers in my family, so it's nice to have in my extended family. It's nice to have that option. So what we're gonna do is I bought big old roast, whatever I can find on sale preferably, but big old pot roast. So beef, it could be a shoulder roast, it could be pretty much anything that is a big old pot roast of beef. I'm gonna do potatoes, carrots, onions, throw it all in the crock pot. Although I'm gonna tell you this, I am probably in the next week or two, I'm gonna buy these roasts, probably 2 or 3 of them. If I have leftovers, great, but probably 2 or 3 roasts, and I am gonna either crock pot or Instapot them, just with the broth, probably onions and garlic, and so that it's like super moist, it's almost shreddable, super tender, and then the day of, and then I'm gonna freeze that in like a big roaster pan or an aluminum pan. So freeze the meat, because that's what takes so long. I don't have 3 crock pots, but I can do it ahead of time in the afternoon someday. And then the day of, I'll get all my carrots, all my potatoes, all my onions, and I'll put the roast in the oven, and I'm gonna bring the meat back up to temp while the veggies are cooking. So that's gonna take a couple hours, probably 2 or 3 hours in the oven. Super easy. It feeds a huge crowd. Again, people are getting a really nice piece of meat. A lot of times I'll put Montreal steak seasoning in there. It's just really good. And then again, I will serve artisan bread with that, which I make ahead. And I'll show you here how I've already prepped 4 loaves of bread for whatever comes up in the next month. So for dessert on my grandfather's party, he likes ice cream, he likes pecan pie. So I might have my family members bring pecan pie, so I don't have to make it, and so it'll be homemade rather than store-bought. I will probably do that. If I didn't do that, I would make his pecan pie ahead of time, and I would freeze it, because again, I don't want to be rushed. I hate stress in the holidays is because you're rushed. Like, that's usually what stress is you're rushed to do something and you don't have enough time, and like your adrenaline goes up. So whatever I can do ahead of time, I will. The other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do an ice cream sundae party for his birthday. He loves ice cream. So we're gonna get all different kinds of ice cream. I'm gonna have different people bring the different toppings, you know, crushed Oreos, maraschino cherries, whipped cream, all the things, preferably toffee, like all smashed up. Oh my gosh, doesn't that sound good? So easy to have people bring it too. Okay, this is my laundry room. Please don't judge me. This is where I have started 4 loaves of bread is what I'll call it. They're not even loaves, but I, again, will link the recipe in the description below. And this stuff is fermenting for a day. All you do, you throw the 4 ingredients in, you stir it, and you let it sit for 24 hours. And then tomorrow, I'll bake them. It's no big deal. I'm already at home. I just bake them in the oven here and there, and then I'm gonna throw them into the oven. Or excuse me, I'm gonna throw them into the freezer. Okay, so here are my loaves of bread that I put in the freezer for whenever. You just pull them out in the morning and they're ready to go. Okay, I'm out here in my favorite part of the house. Not actually, but I love my freezers, okay? I've got this little tiny one, and then I've got this big outdoor freezer. But for our neighbors every year, and they've come to expect it because they love my fudge. So I make a lot of pans of fudge, probably 4 or 5 9x13 pans of fudge. I cut it into chunks and I freeze it. And then when we have time, I pull it out and we give it as gifts to our neighbors. Super easy. And again, they adore this. Check out these like hunks of fudge, and then I tie them really cute, like with a ribbon. Start to think about what meals do I need for that week when my family's here between Christmas and New Year's. Because if I have time to double up on recipes right now and put them in the freezer, I'm gonna do that. Such as this last week, one thing we're gonna have is pulled pork sliders for dinner while they're here. So what I did is I bought a huge butt pork roast. These things are massive. You have to have a huge crock pot or a really big Instapot for these. threw it in the crock pot it almost took 24 hours, but you could put it on high, you could Instapot it and make it go faster. I put beef bouillon cubes in there, a lot of garlic powder, a lot of salt, a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and you cook it that long, 18 hours, and it just falls apart. It was amazing. So I took it out, shredded it up, got rid of the extra fat and the bones, and I put it in the freezer. Now, all I have to do that week for a wonderful dinner is pull it out, put it in the oven, warm it back up, make coleslaw if I want, put in French fries, make a salad, whatever, make it really easy. The meat's done. So that's one meal. So there you go. Christmas pulled pork, Christmas family week. Easy, done. Okay, next meal that I have prepped already for that week that my family's here is crock pot chicken parmesan. Once again, it's gonna feel like you fussed over this meal. It's gonna taste like you fussed, but you didn't. It's very easy. I am going to link this recipe in the description below as well. So this crock pot chicken, super easy. You put 4 chicken breasts in the bottom of the crock pot. For me, I have more people, so I put at least 8 or 9 chicken breasts in the bottom of my crock pot. Italian seasoning mix, like the kind that you would make like an Italian salad dressing. Italian seasoning mix on the top, 2 of those for 8 chicken breasts. Like 2.5 jars of spaghetti sauce on top of that. Parmesan, and then you crock pot that baby for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. I'll put the recipe below. And then boom, it's done. You put mozzarella cheese on, throw it on top of pasta. It's extremely good. It really tastes awesome, and you don't have to fry the chicken parmesan. So I made a crock pot of that and cooled it off and threw it in the freezer. So all I have to do is pull it out, warm it up, put it on pasta, salad, get my bread out of the freezer, and boom, we have an extremely easy meal. Okay, rotisserie chickens are like God's gift to humanity when you have no time. So I have actually found day-old chicken, rotisserie chickens at my Walmart for like $3.50. That's amazing. So buy those, either keep them in your freezer or buy them the day of, however many you need for your family. Rotisserie chicken, salad, and bread. That's all you have to do. Or you could do rotisserie chicken, bread, green beans, roasted Brussels sprouts, asparagus. What is your family like? Just something, I mean, you could dress it up, you could dress it down. Another thing we like to do with rotisserie chicken, which we will probably do this for the week of Christmas, is kind of Greek night. So rotisserie chicken, I like to get the garlic naan bread. Instead of pita, it's just softer to me. We get yogurt, and I usually make my own tzatziki sauce, super easy, with Greek yogurt, Kalamata olives, tomatoes, chop those up, chop up red onions. My kids don't love the onions, but they pick them out. Cucumbers. You could do hummus. We love feta cheese, and you just put it all, it's almost like a charcuterie of Greek deliciousness. I'm telling you, this is so good. So good. If I have macadamia nuts sitting around, I'll just throw those on the plate. Artichokes, I'll throw those on. It's an amazing meal. Hamburgers. Do yourself a favor, buy those patties. They're really not that much more expensive than buying bulk hamburger. Pre-made patties, get some buns, have hamburgers. You can go easy and do like frozen French fries, or what we love to do is I just chop up probably like home fry style, that size of potatoes. If I have carrots, if I have sweet potatoes, if I have beets, if I have any other form of root vegetable, I'll throw them all on, and then you just roast those puppies at 500 degrees. Has to be 500, has to be hot, or else they don't get crispy. I used to do it at like 425 and was wondering like, why are these kind of soggy? Hot, they have to be hot. After you like stir them and drizzle them with olive oil, I usually put seasoning salt, onion and garlic powder. Oh my word, Hamburgers, so good. Sometimes we'll make a really easy aioli to dip the home fries in. Just mayo, a lot of garlic powder or minced garlic, seasoning salt, paprika if you're in the mood, and then just let it sit. If you can, let it sit for a few hours. You don't have to, but it tastes better if those flavors. And again, people just love that. I mean, no one can go wrong with hamburgers, right? Tacos. Tacos are always a hit with families, kids. Okay, let's just switch over to breakfast for a minute. So my mom came over the other day and we did some breakfast prep. We cooked, 5 pounds of breakfast sausage, and we made 6 quiches and 2 breakfast casseroles. It was easy. It took like less than an hour, maybe like 30 minutes. It's not that hard. Once you like mass produce, it's super easy. So I make breakfast quiches for that week of Christmas. Made 4 of them at a time. You just slightly undercook them, and they are, you pull them out of the freezer maybe night before, they thaw, and then you warm them back up the next morning. No fuss. So that recipe is gonna be down below in the description as well. And those are like 5-minute quiches. It takes me less than 5 minutes to prep that thing. The other thing we did was just a hash brown and sausage breakfast casserole. I did not bake that before I put it in the freezer because my plan is Christmas morning to have that thing. So I mean, the eggs were sloppy when I put it in the freezer. But I just Googled that recipe. I don't have like a perfect one for you right now. I know there's a lot of good ones out there, but yeah, again, some of my family's gluten-free, so we use hash browns instead of bread, but you could do any of them. Make a bunch of them. If you don't want to do a lot of cooking, I might do like the 8x8 pans instead of 2 9x13s, because my family usually doesn't eat the whole 9x13 if it's just the 5 of us. But when we have the 8 of us, we're gonna need the full 9x13. So love those. I love just making a huge batch of scrambled eggs, either with bacon bits or with sausage, and I just mix it all together, throw them in tortillas, add some cheese, roll them up and freeze them. And then those are super easy to pull out for company. I do the same for breakfast sandwiches. Again, I think I have a video on this, so I'm going to link that below as well in the description. Just make a massive pot of scrambled eggs. Throw them on English muffins, throw them on bagels, pretty much any bread that you have. I love them on croissants, but they're more expensive. Throw them on there, add a slice of ham, add a slice of cheese, wrap it up in foil, freeze it. So easy. Do yourself a favor and prep these breakfasts. Make Christmas easy. Thanks so much for watching. It's such a treat to get to be with you. Please join me in this season in walking in peace and not in frantic activity. Part of this planning process is to take away from the stress of the holidays. My goal is to actually enjoy my family, to actually spend time reading, spend time, must be a package. Is it Christmas time? Okay, let's try that again. I would love your ideas. If you have fast, easy, delicious meals, breakfast, lunch, or dinner that you love to make for your family or for hosting holiday parties, please share them in the comments below. We can all benefit from that. See you next time. Thanks so much for joining me.